Hello again. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about my pig watering system. You could use this for other livestock too if you wanted, but I have this out here where the pigs are on pasture. So I wanted to talk to you about that briefly. I'll show you what I started with when I first started doing pigs about 8 years ago. And this was my water system for probably the first 3 or 4 years actually. I would carry water out and put it in that tub twice daily. And it works fine. They get enough to drink and everything, but when they get hot or when they get older, they'll walk right in there and even sit in the water, and it gets to be kind of a pain. They still get the water they need. You have to dump it out and every time they get into it because it just gets muddy. So it gets to be kind of a hassle. So I upgraded to this system that I'm using now. This is a tank that I bought at the local Tractor Supply. It's got a large opening on the top. It's a plastic tank, a polyurethane tank. It's got a large opening on top, and I just bring water out there morning and evening and dump that in. The top there's a breather valve in this top cover. It's got a spring that brings it back up again. That allows air in as they suck water out of their nipple feeder, and I'll show you where that is. So that tank just sits on a stand. That's just a basic wooden stand. It's braced up quite well so it'll support plenty of weight if I get a lot of water in that tank. And I put a piece of metal on the top of that wooden stand just to keep that from rotting over the years. This year, the way this stand sets, it sets a little downhill on the one end, so I just put a block under one end of the tank. You see that there's a block under that one end supporting that. It tips it so all the water will run down to this outlet, and the outlet on this particular tank had a 3/4 inch NPT fitting adapter, so I screwed an NPT fitting in there that went from 3/4 inch NPT down to a 1 inch or a 3/4 inch PEX line. PEX is just a flexible plastic pipe, so you can see where that pipe runs out of the tank and goes downhill, of course, to where these nipple feeders are, or these nipple waterers. I've got 3 of them here. I've got 8 pigs in the pasture, and 3 nipple waterers will work just fine for them. You can see the water comes out of there pretty good. I drilled those out a little bit. There's a plastic part inside the nipple waterer, and I drilled that out, and it gives a little more water flow, and they like that a little better. And that's just attached to a wooden railing here. You could do that a number of different ways. It goes into a manifold, and the manifold is galvanized piping, and then the nipple waterers are stainless steel. And again, those came from a Tractor Supply type store. You should be able to find those locally, along with the PEX piping and everything else. So that's my current water system. This tank, when I originally got it, was translucent. You could probably get one in a black. I spray painted this one because the UV light that gets into that tank, whether it's translucent or clear, will make that water grow algae and whatever else a lot quicker. So by spray painting that, I keep the UV light out. It blends in a little better out here, if that makes any difference. But that keeps things from growing in the tank and keeps their water better a lot longer. So you can see these guys are using it right now. They get all the water they need, and the water stays nice and clean. They do like to get it on the ground underneath and roll around in it, so I get a little bit of a hole in the ground. They make a puddle there that they can roll in, but at least it's not in their water and they're not drinking it, so they still get clean water. So that's my watering setup.